I'll take a white if that's all right. Cheers. Cheers. Well, we've made it. We're here at the Shaping Places podcast launch, a year in the works. We've got Matt from the Crown Estate, we've got Rosanna Vitiello from the Place Bureau, we've got Sean McCormack putting beavers back into Ealing for the first time in 400 years. We're here at the Conduit in the Forum. It feels very satisfying to finally get across the start line. It's quite an exciting night tonight because Series 1 is complete, 8 episodes, land, city and sea, but we don't know exactly what's next. We don't know what Series 2 looks like. Are we going to do similar kind of podcast series, talking heads from the best social innovators in the country, or are we going to try and democratize it and get people thinking about how to shape their local places? We don't know yet. It kind of depends on what happens in the room tonight, what comes out of the conversation, what questions are produced, and who else is in the room and wants to participate. I'm going to try and grab Matt Mason and see if we can get a little snippet with him before we start.
It's been a year.
A year in the works. Yeah. We found some of the best social innovators in the country, I think.
Yeah.
You've kindly brought Rosanna to the table. I brought Sean from the boat.
Yeah, exactly. I started this entire process with nothing more than an idea and knowing a guy who could maybe help make that happen. You made the episodes work and kept the pressure on everybody to make sure that we could be standing here today with 8 guests in the bag and everything else.
I think we work very well together because you've got a very broad view and a very reflective view, and I feel like I go in and spray a bunch of questions and then I look over and go, what have I missed, Matt? And then you kind of round it off and sculpt it very nicely. So
it's a good teamwork. I mean, we had 8 really good conversations on the podcast, and I'm hoping that it sparks a few more in the room today. Because actually that's been one of the really nice things since we've started releasing the episodes, is having people come up and, you know, reflect on what they learned from listening to them or something that made them think a bit differently.
We've spent at least half of the time in conversation with these people, delving deep into their mental models, their relationship with their grandparents, and they've been very kind in giving us the goods.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that you brought right from the beginning, based on having done this before, was deliberate conversation about how much airtime do we want to give to guests versus take up for our own voices, and do we want to spend all the time talking about Crown Estate, or do we want to spend all of the time talking about the work that these people are doing? I mean, that was a kind of a no-brainer for me. Having those conversations before we went in meant that I think we could hit the ground running.
Welcome everybody to the launch of Shaping Places podcast. And I'm hoping tonight that we can get under the hood a little bit of the intention, the reasons, and the architecture underneath this idea of shaping places that we've pulled together. We will end with some questions, not answers, that we've been able to produce together that we can take away with us. 3 years ago, I got involved to lead and host the partnership between the Conduit and the Crown Estate. We've done roundtables of reimagining land use. We've done lab days, doing an open call for innovation ideas that have ended up on the Mall, bringing rewilding back to the centre of the city. We've done all sorts of discussions on city, land and sea. And then about a year ago, Matt, who will introduce himself, got thinking about what we should do for this 3rd year of the partnership. So with that, I will hand to Matt, and maybe you could tell us a bit about what brought you to this evening, Matt.
Yeah, thanks Dave. I'm Matt Mason. I head up innovation in the urban business of the Crown Estate. Some heritage buildings in the West End of London, Regent Street, Piccadilly, the Mall, as Dave alluded to. And then housing, science and innovation and retail developments around the country. We managed to persuade 8 people who have incredibly interesting backgrounds and roles to talk to us about the places that shaped them and then what they're now doing to shape those places. And so really delighted to be able to share those conversations, and hopefully it will lead to the Crown Estate reflecting on how we take some of those lessons from people like Sean and Rosanna, but also hopefully can spark some ideas and interest and thoughts for other people who listen to those conversations.
I am fascinated by places, and I've had the pleasure of working with Matt and the wider team at the Crown Estate, in fact on a very long-term vision, 100-year vision. I've managed to turn the fascination and the curiosity for places into a career. So I run a studio called the Place Bureau, it's in the name.
And I'm a big believer in wherever you end up in the world, whether it's temporary, short-term or long-term, you've got to build a village around you and you've got to get immersed in that place and make connections there. The final kind of crescendo of that journey has been reintroducing beavers to urban London for the first time in Britain's first publicly accessible beaver enclosure trial.
Take 3 minutes, because I think it's from the heart. Don't need to think about this too much. And then we'll see what you've written, and we might do a roving mic and see if anyone wants to share any of their love letters, or those of their neighbours if they don't want to speak up.
I've got to say, it all went well, but I was amazed by the love letters to place that the people shared. I had a little poem I was going to read, and I thought, it's not going to happen. And the questions we produced at the end, excellent. So I feel really excited about the way forward. The quality of the questions was amazing in the room. Go listen to the episodes. Try and binge them. Try and listen to all of them at once and see if you can find the connections, the similarities, the differences between them, and see if you can apply it to your place. See if these questions, I'll put them in below, whether they help you discover what your place is if you don't know really what the place of your heart is. See you guys soon. Take care of yourselves and look after each other.